South Dakota state lawmakers wrapped up week 2 of the 2020 legislative session. Both the Republican and Democratic leadership plus Governor Kristi Noem held end-of-the-week press briefings. House Minority Leader Jamie Smith addressed a bill that passed out of committee earlier this week that will make it illegal for medical professionals to perform gender-affirming operations or surgeries or prescribe hormone replacement therapy to aid a child's gender transition.
It's very unfortunate that that bill passed State Affairs Committee. I can't believe the level of disrespect we're showing to our physicians. And for people that think they're helping, I just wish they would listen to that vulnerable population, the trans youth in our communities, because it's so important to show our support to that community. And as a caucus, as a whole, we fully support that vulnerable population.
The ACLU has indicated it will legally challenge the state should House Bill 1057 become law. Senate Minority Leader Troy Heinert weighed in.
Last year we paid out a considerable amount of money on bills that were passed, that originated in the legislature and then were later found unconstitutional. And if we want to keep writing checks for attorney's fees for these types of bills, then we should keep passing this kind of stuff, because it's not going to stop. We have to be smarter about the kind of bills that we take up and the kind of bills that we pass, because that money that we're paying out in attorney's fees, that can go to other programs, that can go to education, that can go to community support providers. I'll be doing mock testimony with Partners in Policy a little later today. $800,000 to those kids would be huge, and that was money that we gave away.
Also on the minds of lawmakers, providing an increase for K-12 education, state employee salaries, and Medicaid providers. Senate Majority Leader Chris Langer of Del Rapids says Republicans want to give some type of an increase to all three entities, but won't make decisions until appropriators know more details about revenue dollars.
We have met both House and Senate leadership and working with our appropriators, and the desire obviously is to give something to the big three. The question remaining is, where are we going to get that money? So I think both chambers agree that we would like to say, yes, for sure, we're going to give X amount of dollars, but we just, at this point, we're still waiting to see where the revenue numbers are and trying to be realistic about what we actually can give to each of those big three providers for us, and see what's realistic without making some serious cuts to other areas.
House Majority Leader Lee Quam, who is one of the main sponsors of a bill that will legalize industrial hemp, addressed funding the program.
There's some one-time monies out there that can be used for that. Some of the other will just go into the Department of Ag, into DPS, and into health. And that stuff, in all reality, that has to be done whether we pass our hemp bill or not, because with the tribes moving forward, with interstate commerce moving forward, we have to have our law enforcement, our health department, our Department of Ag all ready to step up and do what they need to do. So that's stuff that needs to be done no matter what. So that will all be in those departments. So we had a good discussion about that.
Governor Kristi Noem says she is having ongoing conversations with leaders to address her concerns with legalizing industrial hemp.
When I gave my State of the State address, I talked about 4 different guardrails that I wanted to see included in that legislation. So they have been working with us to include those. I wanted to make sure that we addressed the registration licensing issues that we need to have to stand a program up and go. I also wanted to make sure we were doing enforcement properly so we could tell the difference between hemp and marijuana in the state, and that my Department of Public Safety would be involved going forward. We also talked about transportation issues, how we were going to move these products through our state so that people had the proper paperwork and what would happen if they didn't. And then we also have a cost. there will be a cost to taxpayers to stand this program up, and I wanted the legislators to make sure that they paid for it. So we are working on language, and I believe that we'll be finalizing that next week. I'm not certain what their schedule would be for actually moving a bill through the legislature, but it is making good progress.
To listen to the end of the week press briefings in their entirety, they can be found archived at sd.net. For South Dakota Public Broadcasting, I'm Stephanie Rissler.